Welcome to NEHMTECH. This is lesson 5 on Python, and we are still discussing data types, continuation on strings we introduced on lesson 3. So if you want to find the previous lessons, you can just go to the NEHMTECH YouTube channel. Just go to the YouTube and search for NEHMTECH, and then navigate to the playlist. Go to the playlist. So basically the classes are arranged such that the oldest is the first one, and then at the latest is there at the bottom. So we are going to focus on the strings. First of all, the strings, then later we are going to talk about the Boolean values. Now we introduced strings on lesson 3, and today I want to show you, for example, how you can slice strings. Now let's have here a string like let me just say, or perhaps let me say name or a. Let me assign it to Nehemiah Wekesa. So I want us to discuss how we can slice the strings. So you can return a range of characters. First of all, you need to understand that strings are immutable, but you can extract, like you can identify, like you can access certain elements in your things, but they are immutable, just like the tuples. We shall talk about these things as we go on. Now this, you can like return the range of characters by using the slice syntax, and so you specify the start index and also the end index separated by the semicolon to return part of that string. Now, for example, let's say print. We know that if we use a, it's going to return everything here, Nehemiah Wekesa. But now, if you want to slice the parts of these strings, then you'll use here square brackets, open and close the square brackets. Then at the first index, this is where, remember, index in Python begins from 0. So 0 is like index 0 is element 1. Like at this end is like 0. 0 is like element 1. 1 is 2, 3, and so forth. So indexing begins from 0. So if I wanted to get the first index up to, let's say, to Nehemiah, I will simply say index 0, then a colon, this is the first index, then at the end index, or maybe the end index, I'll count. So this is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now it is 7, but now when indexing, when you're defining a range, Python will exclude the last index that you define. So if here we have 8, or perhaps let me just add here 8, it will exclude that h. It will always omit, I'm not sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, so basically this is 8. It begins from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is 7. If you wanted to like get to this h, you have to add here an extra 1 element so that it can return 7, all the characters. Otherwise, if you were to specify exactly 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you are to specify exactly at position 7 or at index 7, then it's going to omit the last index that the last index of that character. So you need to add in an extra 1 so that it can omit it and then return what you wanted. So this is how you can slice what strings. Now, assuming that you wanted to return from for example, let's say we wanted to return like everything from the start up to position 8. So in that case, like in this case, we have 0 to 8. So we do not even need to specify the index 0. We could have just say we like from nothing to position 8 to index 8. Then it's going to still return Nehemiah. And let's say if you wanted to return from index 8, let's say from index this 8, 8, 9. So if we were to return from index 9 onwards, like from Wekesa, this W all the way to the end, then we could have specified here 9, 9, 9, then it's going to return Wekesa. So this is how you can slice from the start to the end. And so basically that's how you can extract it. Like you can slice the elements. Remember, you can as well slice from the with the negative indexing. So if we are to use the negative indexing, now remember the negative now begins from or if you are to slice like from right to left, or maybe from negative indexing. So we know that from left to right it begins from 0, 1, 2, 3. But now if you are to do the negative indexing, then the last index is -1. It's not 0. It is -1. This is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and so forth. And you remember that -1 is bigger than -10 onwards. So if you are to access, like for example, if you are to get from index, from like if you are to use the negative indexing, like from, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say we were to access from -7 backwards, then we could have specified here negative -7, but remember the last index is always omitted. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So if I specify here -7, then it's going to begin from H backwards. So it's going to return a Nehemiah. And if I were to define a range, like let's say from perhaps, let's say, NE. So this is at index, so this -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I could have specified here -13 to -7, then it's going to extract. Remember, it begins from the smallest to the largest, like it is ascending. Like when you are trying to slice, it should be ascending, like from the smallest to the largest. And you know -13 is smaller than -7. So basically that's how you can slice the strings. Now I want us to talk about another thing. Another thing, like for example, if you want to format the strings well, for example, if you want to use the uppercase, smaller case, and so forth. So for example, let's say we wanted to convert, let me use a different cell. So if you were to modify these strings, for example, to be uppercase, there's already a built-in method that you can use to convert it. So if you wanted to convert, for example, this Nehemiah Wekesa to uppercase, then you can just use the upper method. So dot upper, and I remember any method or a function must have the parentheses. Remember this beginning parenthesis is for the print, but now the inner ones, this is for the upper, and it doesn't have any argument there. Then you can see now the output is in uppercase. Now if you have to use the lowercase, then you can just change here to lower, then it's going to convert your strings to the lowercase. And for example, if you wanted to remove the white spaces, assuming that you have the white space here at the start and also at the end, then you can use the strip method. This one will remove the white spaces here. Now let me have two variables here. So the first one is A, this is B. Now one has white space, and the other one does not have the white space. So let me see. B. So you can see one is like has the white space, and then the other one doesn't have the white space. Now let me try to add all of them to have the white space. So you can see all of them, they have the white space. We have the spaces here and at the end. So if I wanted to extract the white space, you can just use the strip method. So say A, for example, if I were to remove from this first one, you say A dot strip A dot strip, and then you can see now the first one doesn't have the white space. Okay. Let me try to. Yeah, you can see the first one doesn't have those white space, and the second one has the white space. Yeah, so basically that's how you can remove the spaces. And as well, you can replace some characters. Like for example, let's say you wanted to replace, for example, Nehemiah with something else, then you can just use the replace method. Replace, replace, and then although I think at one point we talk about the regular expressions, but okay, let's try to replace the white space with the underscore. Let's try to replace the white space. So remember, it is a string. You have to begin with the quotes. But now I'm adding now that space, a white space. I want to replace it with a comma or maybe an underscore or anything. So the output is going to have like this, like it's going to replace anywhere we have the white space, it's going to replace with the underscore. Or perhaps let's try to replace the entire name, for example, Nehemiah, with, for example, Joy. Then you can see now the result is Joy Wekesa. So you can use the replace method in case you want to replace some characters in a string. And then perhaps let's say you wanted to split your strings to be separate. For example, let's assume we have okay, let me just remove this one. So if you wanted, for example, to split this name with the delimiter being the white space, you can just say split. First of all, you define your object a dot split, and then you must specify the delimiter here that you are going to use. For example, if it is a white space, you just add there the space, then the result, the output is going to be, sorry, I think I've added here next parenthesis. Yeah, you can see now it has splitted. It has returned like it has returned a list of the values which have been split. So basically, that's how you split. And then how do you join? How do you concatenate several strings? Let's assume that you have the first name like A, then the second one is let's say Wekesa. Wekesa. So if you want to combine this name together, you can use the concatenation operator. You can just say A, B, and then it's going to be combined. But remember, you need to add in like the white space here at the end if you want to get the spaces there, so that you can. Or if you don't want to add in the space, then you can use a comma. If you use a comma, then it's going to create the spaces there. Alternatively, you can create here a variable C, and then I can say A plus B, and then I just return C, of which C is the variable for A and B, concatenation of A and B. Then you're going to get the result. If you don't want to add in the white space, you can just say A plus then an empty string, then a plus B. So in this case, we've added A, which is Nehemiah, plus white space here to add in the space, and then B plus B, and then it's still going to create the white space. So basically, that's how you can join the strings together. So I think in a summary, this is about the strings. I think most of it we'll talk about it as we go on. But remember, you can't concatenate with the plus for integers and strings, and a lot more. But we shall talk about strings as we go on in this series. Perhaps before I proceed, there are some special characters. Like let's say you wanted to begin to use this you wanted to use this underscore backslash. So you can see now here I'm getting the result, the error. Let me undo. Let me use another cell. Let me use here another cell. Now, for example, there are some characters. If you want to use it, then you might get the error. Like, for example, if you want to use the backslash. So here, you're going to get the error here. So if you want to use special characters like this one, then you need to you need to add in the escape keys. Let me begin here with a single. We know that whenever you're using an apostrophe in the inside, for example, let me try to say it's Nehemiah. Okay, let me remove this slicing. So you know, when I try to run here, it's going to return here unterminated string because we have it, but remember this quarter to defining strings. So this one is assuming that this is the first string, start and the end of the strings, and that the rest doesn't have the start and the closing, so it is going to consider it as a syntax error. That's why it's throwing the error. So if you wanted to use the apostrophe but you want to use both single quote, then you can use the special character, of which I told you is defined with the backtick, then the character that you want to use. So in this case, you will not get the error. And perhaps let's say you wanted to have the two, like I wanted to have a backslash. You saw earlier I was trying to add in the backslash and then it fails. So in the event you want to add in a backslash, then it means you need to add two of them so that you can have one backslash. So you begin first of all with the backslash and the character that you want to insert. So I told you that in the event you want to add in here a new line, you can just use backtick, and then n, then this should create here a new line. You can see now it is now returning a new line. And then for example, if you want to add in a backspace, that's delete. For example, you want to delete, then you can just use backslash and then a b. Sorry, not a, it should be now b. Then it's going to remove that space. You can see now it has removed the space. And then for example, if you want to add in the tab, you can use a t. Then it's going to create the tab. The tab is just that space when you click on your keyboard, that space. And then we have other things, but we shall discuss it as we go on. Now, lastly, I want us to talk about the Boolean values. And the Boolean values are basically true or false values. So, for example, if you want to compare things, like for example, if let's say print 10 is greater than 20, it will return false because 10 is not greater than 20. And then if you change like a 10 to be less than 20, it's going to return true. So basically the Boolean values represent one of the two values, true or false. So remember, in future we'll be talking about the conditional statements, how you can render statements in the event the condition is true, or how you can render the statements in the event the condition is false. Yeah, so basically that's how you go about it. And then so basically the other thing that I think we shall talk about the if statements. I think that should be in the next lesson. Perhaps I'll talk about the operators, then later I'll talk about the if statements, and also I'll talk about the loops. So I don't want to complicate it at the start, but guys, please consider to subscribe, and also you can turn on the notification bell so that in the event I upload a new lesson, you'll be notified and you can access it quite easily. So guys, please practice a lot, and try to find some examples that you can do to make sure that you've perfected your skills. Remember, we are beginning at the very basics, but as we advance, things are going to get serious. So make sure that you have a strong foundation on this one. So guys, thank you so much, and until next time, this is Nehemiah. Goodbye.